Florida's pushing this "Don't Say Gay" bill, and it's gotten a little bit worse this week. So the bill was supposed to be looking a way to protect parents, give them more rights in their educational things that are going on with their kids in the schools. And really what it is about is outing and ostracizing students that are gay, making sure that they're exposed. So let's get to some of the details of what they've advanced in this bill. So a new amendment to the Florida's "Don't Say Gay" bill would require schools to inform parents of their children's sexual orientation within 6 weeks of learning the student isn't straight. Now, the original version of the legislation, it required schools to inform families of their child's LGBTQ+ status, but gave an option for exemption for the outing in cases where educators feared it could lead to abuse, neglect, or abandonment. And this amendment offers no such exception. So they're gonna remove that provision where it says, hey, maybe in case of any kind of abuse or abandonment or pain at home, we'll think twice about this. Why think twice? So then they have no care about their children, kids in schools, or their safety at all, as is outlined here in this video.
This parental rights and education bill is all part of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis pushing forth Republican priorities during this legislative session that appeal to the base of the Republican Party, what he calls anti-woke legislation. As far as this bill, Governor DeSantis has sidestepped the question for some time since this bill caused a nationwide firestorm. But this week here in Miami, he gave his clearest indication yet that he supports this bill, although he hasn't explicitly said that he would sign it.
We've seen instances of students being told by different folks in school, oh, don't worry, don't pick your gender yet, do all this other stuff. They won't tell the parents about these discussions that are happening. That is entirely inappropriate. To get into situations where you're not having the parent, you're hiding things from the parent, you're injecting these concepts about choosing your gender, that is just inappropriate for our schools.
So there's Ron DeSantis very upset about the whole situation, but if you look at some of the details, again, we talked about Kristi Noem up in North Dakota, I believe, and how upset she was, or how she wasn't upset about the potential pain and issues that come with folks and kids specifically here. So let's look at this really fast. A 2019 survey from the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network found that the school climate in Florida is, quote, not safe for most LGBTQ students, as it already is. The vast majority of LGBTQ youth who responded to the survey said they regularly heard anti-remarks in schools, and about a quarter had experienced physical harassment at school. But 98% of respondents could identify at least one school staff member who was supportive. And I guess any support, any kind of positive interaction is just something they need to eliminate. So let's tell parents immediately, I mean, by the way, under what circumstances? Based off of what they think? I think some of the language up higher said where they think that learning that the student isn't straight. Learning how? Because you observed and you don't think so. There's so many ways that this is a problem, and then they'll just go to relaying to parents whatever they think that maybe a student doesn't want to have happen. It's weird.
There is no benefit to this bill. There is, I mean, I'm trying. Even in like trying to understand like what could possibly be going through Republicans' heads in Florida thing. It is completely homophobic garbage. That's all this bill is. And it is a way to put kids in danger and at risk. Period. This is the party that claims to care about children, and that their whack jobs in their own base are like, Q, we gotta save the kids, oh, the pedophiles. You know how kids are put at risk for things like human trafficking? When they're kicked out of their homes for being gay and they have to be on the streets, that's how they're put at risk for this, right? Like if you actually cared about children at all, you would see right through this bill. It is nothing but garbage. I'm so livid about it. And like Ron DeSantis doing things for the culture war. This is not a culture war. This is an actual war. This is a human rights war. This is not a fringe issue. This is a fundamental issue. 7% of Americans identify as LGBTQ+, more than in any other time in the United States. The Republicans see the writing on the wall and they want to push back against that somehow by putting kids at risk. Here's what I say, last thing. Republicans just want to make more Republicans, which are unhappy, closeted people who don't know their own identities. And so they can just bottle up all their energy, vote Republican, take away things from poor people and people of color. And then the whole sort of self-fulfilling human centipede that is the Republican Party just continues on.
It's lots of misery involved around it. And it's
so much.
I don't know if they think people just don't exist and therefore just out them, and then kids just won't. They'll suddenly have a better life. What the end goal is never caring about the kids, as you point out. It's definitely the point of saying, hey, we're the party that gets attacked for being horrible people. You should vote for us, join us. It's advocating being the bad guy.